I want to talk about the currency here, Dr. Rajan, because the Indian rupee has depreciated nearly 14% against the dollar in just about 2 years' time, while it's stabilizing a little bit off late. But one has seen FPI outflows, crude import pressure, a narrowed interest rate differential with the US, and a widening current account deficit are all part of the story now. In your view, is this a cyclical correction, or does it point to something more structural about India's balance of payments position?
Look, I think there is a worry about why we're not attracting enough FDI. And I think it's commingled with the concerns about our own domestic firms investing, why they're not investing in a bigger way, especially given the headline GDP numbers, which seem astoundingly strong. And that, I think, is something we need to examine carefully. Why does the walk not match the talk, so to speak? Put that aside, I think that if you take out the fact that this is primarily a capital account problem, we need to attract the funding, given that FDI hasn't kept pace. But other places we are attracting funding. Remittances are still quite strong. And that our current account deficit that you mentioned, yes, if oil was going to continue going up, it would be a really serious problem. But when we look at the latest numbers, they look relatively mild. And the fact that the war, if the peace stays, and that's a very big if the peace stays and we don't get a resumption of conflict, then hopefully oil prices will stay around the levels they are at today, around $85 a barrel. And that is not as serious as, was envisaged if the war continued, a price of $150, $200 a barrel. I think that all that is manageable, which leads to the question, are we panicking too much at this point? And do we need the kinds of inflows that are likely to be on the cards with the FCNRB proposal, et cetera? That's a question for policymakers to look at. And, maybe if they conclude that we don't need as much, we can also reduce some of the subsidies implicit in these schemes.